What exactly are you doing out here with this?
I'm just sketching, sir. It's nothing illegal.
The sirens weren't loud at first. They threaded through the early evening like a warning only she could hear. Nia Morgan froze on the sidewalk, clutching her sketch portfolio against her chest as the police cruiser rolled to a stop beside her. The street was quiet, too quiet. Even the wind felt like it was holding its breath. She'd just stepped out of the fabric shop. She'd only crossed the street. She'd done nothing wrong. But the officer's eyes were already locked on her like she was a threat waiting to happen. "Hey! Stop right there." His voice cut through the air, sharp and cold. Nia turned slowly, pulse hammering. The white officer stepped out, hand resting near his holster, gaze crawling over her hoodie, her braids, her trembling hands. "What are you hiding?" he asked. Nothing," she said. "I'm just going home." His jaw twitched. "Don't lie to me." He snatched the portfolio from her arms. Papers scattered, her sketches, her design drafts, the future she'd been stitching together piece by piece. Pages fluttered across the concrete like frightened birds. People looked. No one moved. "This," the officer said, kicking a sketch toward her, "doesn't look like schoolwork." "It's my work," she whispered. The officer's expression hardened, something cruel flickering in his eyes. "Turn around. Hands behind your back." A gasp escaped her. "Please, I didn't." "You match a description," he said. "Don't make this harder." The cuffs snapped shut. And as the world blurred, Nia realized. He wasn't checking a description. He was creating one. Nia didn't realize how fast her heart was beating until the police cruiser slowed beside her. The sound of its tires grinding against gravel sliced through the hum of the street. She clutched her sketch portfolio tighter. She'd only walked 2 blocks from the fabric shop. 2 blocks. That was all it took for her world to snap open into fear. "Hey! You!" the officer called out through the rolled-down window. "Stop right there." Nia froze. The voice was sharp, authoritative, the kind that made people obey before thinking. Officer Bennett stepped out, boots hitting the pavement with heavy precision. He scanned her from head to toe, gaze cold and clinical. "You in a hurry?" he asked. "No, sir," she said quietly. "Just going home. Going home." He echoed the words like they were suspicious. "What's in the bag?" "It's not a bag. It's my portfolio." He nodded slowly, eyes narrowing. "Let me see it." "It has my designs," she said. "They're delicate. I'd prefer." "I said let me see it." The command bit through the air. Nia's fingers trembled as she handed it over. Bennett ripped it open without care. Papers spilled, sketches sliding across the sidewalk. Her dreams, pages she'd spent hours perfecting, scattered under his boots. "These yours?" he asked, lifting one with a boot edge. "Yes," she whispered. "You draw clothes." His tone sharpened into something mocking. "I'm a designer. I'm preparing for." "Sure you are." His dismissive tone stung harder than the cold air. Nia forced herself to speak calmly. "I can show you my ID. Don't reach for anything." I wasn't. I said don't." He stepped closer. His hand hovered near his holster. "We've had reports of a shoplifter matching your description. Hoodie. Young. Nervous." Her stomach flipped. "I didn't steal anything." "That what you'd say if you did." "That's what I'm saying because it's true." He stared at her, eyes unblinking. "Turn around." "Sir, please. Turn. Around." His voice cracked like a whip. The street seemed to shrink around her. 3 people watched from across the intersection, 2 men and a woman, but none stepped forward. None spoke. Silence wrapped around them like plastic. "Hands behind your back," Bennett ordered. "I've done nothing wrong," she said, voice trembling. "You match a description." "What description?" she asked. "The one I'm looking at." Her breath caught. That's not how descriptions work." You questioning me? I'm just. He grabbed her wrist, yanked her arms behind her. The metal cuffs clicked shut, biting into her skin. Her vision blurred as tears filled her eyes. Stop resisting, he said. I'm not resisting. You raised your voice. That's because you. That's enough. He pushed her toward the cruiser. Her sketches fluttered across the ground behind them like pieces of something dying. Bennett opened the back door. You're detaining me for drawings, she asked, her voice cracking. I'm detaining you because you acted suspicious. I didn't. Again with the attitude. A bystander finally spoke. Hey officer, she's just a kid. Bennett shot the man a glare. You want to interfere with an arrest, sir? The man backed off instantly. Nia swallowed the rising panic. Please, she whispered. Please don't do this. Bennett leaned down so his face was level with hers. His voice softened into something far more chilling. You should have thought of that before running around looking guilty. I wasn't running. You were nervous. You scared me. There it is, he said. Admitting fear is as good as admitting guilt. That's not true, she whispered. He guided her into the back seat, shutting the door behind her. The inside smelled like old vinyl and disinfectant. She pressed her forehead to the glass, staring at her scattered sketches. A gust of wind lifted one. Her favorite design, a flowing cream dress inspired by her grandmother's stories, and carried it down the street. Bennett returned to the front seat, radio crackling as he lifted it. Dispatch, this is Officer Bennett. Suspect detained. Possible connection to shoplifting incident. Bringing her in. Nia shook her head violently. I didn't steal, you didn't even check, you didn't ask. He ignored her, continuing his report. Female late teens. Non-compliant. Attempted to flee. He gasped. That's a lie. He lowered the radio and finally looked back at her. Careful what you call a lie, sweetheart. Her throat tightened. I didn't run, she whispered. You raised your voice. Same thing. Know it. Quiet. The cruiser began to move. Nia watched the street slide away. The fabric shop, the lamppost, the spot where her sketches lay abandoned. She could still see a few pages crumpled near the curb. Her dreams shouldn't be lying on the ground like trash. Please, she said softly, voice barely audible. I'm not who you think I am. Bennett smirked at the windshield. Oh, I know exactly who you are. And with that sentence, Nia knew. He'd never been looking for a suspect. He'd been looking for someone to blame. The station buzzed with fluorescent fatigue. Nia stepped inside, still cuffed, still shaking, still trying to understand how her evening had turned into a nightmare. Officer Bennett's grip on her arm stayed firm as he guided her past a row of desks. Every step echoed louder than the last. A younger officer at the front desk glanced up. He looked barely older than a college student, with warm brown eyes that flickered with confusion the moment he saw her. His badge read Lewis. He straightened. Bennett, what's the charge? Detainment for investigation, Bennett said, not slowing. Possible shoplifting. Lewis frowned. Possible. That's what I said. Lewis hesitated. Did she have stolen merchandise? Bennett shot him a hard look. Are you interrogating me, Officer Lewis? No, sir. Just asking. Then stop asking. Nia swallowed. Please, she whispered. I didn't. Bennett jerked her forward. Save it. They reached a small processing room with a metal table and harsh overhead light. Bennett uncuffed her just long enough to press her palms onto an ink pad. Lewis lingered at the doorway, uneasy. Hands flat, Bennett said. She obeyed, fingers trembling. Lewis cleared his throat. Bennett, did she actually match a description? We haven't had a shoplifting suspect today. We have one now, Bennett replied. Lewis stared. That's not. Officer, Bennett snapped. Door. Lewis closed it slowly, but not before giving Nia a look that said he knew something was wrong. Bennett shoved a form toward her. State your name. You have my ID, she said quietly. I want to hear you say it. Nia Morgan. Age. 17. School. Hollings High. Reason for being out tonight. I was buying fabric. He cut her off. For what? A project. Aha. He leaned forward. You nervous because you did something wrong? I'm nervous because you arrested me. You raised your voice earlier, he said. That's aggression. I wasn't aggressive. You talked back. I was scared. Scared people over-explain. Guilty people over-explain. Which one are you? Her eyes stung. Neither. He scribbled something on the form. Suspicious behavior noted. That's not. Please don't write things that didn't happen. Are you telling me how to file my report? I'm telling you what happened. Good, he said. I'll decide what matters. The door swung open. A woman in sergeant stripes walked in. Sergeant Vance. She scanned the room, expression unreadable. Bennett. What's going on? Shoplifting suspect, he replied smoothly. Suspect? Vance asked. What store? Bennett didn't miss a beat. Corner fabric shop. Teen ran out. Clerk called it in. Nia snapped her head up. That's not true. No one called anything in. Bennett glared at her. Quiet. Vance crossed her arms. Bennett, did you get a statement from the clerk? Clerk was busy, he said. Didn't stop to talk. Vance's eyes narrowed. You brought her in without confirming a crime occurred. She matched the description. What description? Vance asked. Female. In. Hoodie. Bennett shrugged. Close enough. Vance let out a long, exhausted breath. Fine. Process her. But Bennett, your reports better be clean. They always are, he said. The sergeant left. Lewis hovered outside again, unsure whether to re-enter. Nia met his eyes as Bennett turned his back. She mouthed silently. Help me. Lewis stepped inside. Sergeant wants the official charge listed before we take prints. I'm listing detainment, Bennett replied. That's not a charge. It is tonight. Bennett. Lewis lowered his voice. She didn't do anything. You don't know that. I know we didn't get a call. I know no one reported a teen girl. I know. You know nothing, Bennett snapped. Stand down. Lewis hesitated again, but stepped back with a clenched jaw. Bennett turned to Nia. See. Even he thinks you're hiding something. That's not what he. You ever been in trouble before? He asked. No. Suspensions. No. Fights. No. Shoplifting. No. He smirked. Quite the angel, aren't you? She clenched her fists. Why won't you believe me? Because innocence doesn't make people shake, he said. Guilt does. I'm shaking because you scared me. Then you should have cooperated. I did cooperate. You hesitated. I was trying to explain. You argued. I defended myself. And now, he said calmly, you're raising your voice again. She sucked in a breath, holding back tears. You keep twisting everything I say. He wrote another note. Hostile tone. That's not fair. Life's not fair, he said. Especially for people who think they're smarter than an officer. Lewis stepped forward again. Bennett, that's enough. Bennett didn't turn. You're dismissed, Lewis. Lewis didn't move. Nia looked at him desperately. Please, he's lying. Please help me. Lewis's throat bobbed. Bennett, she's just a kid. Bennett spun around. You questioning my judgment. I'm questioning the situation, Lewis said carefully. Well, don't. I'll finish processing. You can go file your own paperwork. Lewis didn't leave, but he stepped back to the doorway. Bennett shoved the form toward her again. Sign. I don't even know what it says. It says you were here voluntarily for questioning. That's not true. You want resisting added. Her hand shook. She didn't sign. Bennett grabbed the pen, slammed it onto the table. I said sign. Lewis stepped in sharply. Bennett, she can't sign something she doesn't understand. She can and she will. Nia's voice cracked. Please. I just want to go home. Bennett leaned close. Then stop fighting. A tear slipped down her cheek. She picked up the pen. Her signature looked nothing like her own. Bennett smiled faintly, satisfied. Good. Now Prince. He inked her fingers, pressing them with unnecessary force. She winced. When it was done, Bennett grabbed her elbow again. Holding cell. Bennett, Lewis said quietly. Sergeant said detainment, not holding. She'll wait there. Lewis looked at Nia, eyes full of helpless apology. Bennett led her down the hall, metal doors clanging open. Nia felt the weight of every lie tightening around her like another set of cuffs. And as the cell door shut, she realized the truth didn't matter here. Only his version of it did. The hours stretched into something shapeless. No windows, no clock, only the metallic hum of the holding cell light. Nia sat on the bench, knees pulled to her chest, replaying every second of the arrest like a cruel loop she couldn't pause. Footsteps eventually approached. 2 officers stood outside the bars. Not Bennett. The older of the 2 unlocked the door. Morgan. Let's go. She blinked. Am I being charged? The officer didn't meet her eyes. You're free to leave. That's not an answer. His jaw tightened. Ma'am, let's not make this complicated. I shouldn't have been here, she whispered. He didn't disagree. He simply stepped aside. As she walked down the hallway, she searched for Bennett, half expecting him to appear, half praying he wouldn't. He wasn't there. Lewis, however, leaned against the wall near the front desk. His shoulders were tense, his expression conflicted. When he saw her, he straightened. They're releasing you. I can see that, she said softly. Lewis hesitated, then leaned in slightly. They didn't have anything on you. His voice dropped lower. I'm sorry. She stared at him, trying to read him. Why didn't you say something earlier? I tried, he said quietly. But Bennett. Bennett lied, she snapped. I know. Then why does he get to walk around like nothing happened while I get treated like? He swallowed. I don't have the power to stop him. Not yet. Not yet, she repeated. That's comforting. He flinched at that. Look, I'm not your enemy. Then who is? She whispered. Lewis didn't answer. The older officer handed her a plastic tray containing her belongings. Phone, ID, lip balm. No portfolio. No sketches. Where are my drawings? She asked. The officer didn't look up. Nothing else was logged. Officer Bennett took them. The man shrugged. Check lost and found another day. They're not lost, she insisted. He threw them everywhere. Lewis shifted awkwardly, then said under his breath, I'm sorry, Nia. She clenched her fists. Sorry doesn't give me my work back. The doors opened, spilling cold night air into the lobby. Her mother rushed inside, coat half buttoned, purse still open, keys dangling from her fingers. Nia! Her mother's voice cracked as she pulled her into a tight embrace. Baby, oh my God, are you hurt? Are you okay? Nia buried her face in her mother's shoulder. They made it sound like I did something horrible. I didn't. I swear. I know, her mother whispered fiercely. I know you didn't. Behind them, Lewis stepped back, keeping his distance. But Nia still felt his gaze. Heavy, guilty, unsure. Her mother wrapped an arm around her and guided her outside. We're going home. The night felt colder now. Harsher. Every passing headlight made Nia flinch. When they reached the car, her mother exhaled shakily. Who did this? What happened? Nia opened her mouth, but the words hitched, tangled with the fear she hadn't processed yet. He said I matched a description, she said finally. But he never said what description. He just looked at me and decided. Her mother's face hardened. What was his name? Bennett, Nia whispered. Officer Bennett. I'm filing a complaint first thing in the morning, her mother muttered. This is a nightmare. Nia stared out the window as her mother drove. The streets outside, the same street she walked every day, felt foreign now, as though something had shifted in the concrete beneath them. When they pulled into their driveway, her mother rested a hand on hers. You're safe now. But Nia didn't feel safe. She felt hollow. Inside the house, she peeled off her hoodie, the cuffs still printed faintly on her wrists. She picked up her phone, which had been dark for hours. The screen lit up with notifications. Dozens of them. Her mother frowned. What is that? I don't know. Nia tapped the first alert. Video. A blurry clip, someone recording from across the street, showed her being cuffed, crying, Bennett towering over her. There was no audio, just the image. Her shaking, her portfolio scattering across the pavement. Comments scrolled underneath. Typical. What did she steal? Why they always pretend to be innocent? Girl looks guilty AF. Designer. Pull more like shoplifter. She felt something inside her crack. This is everywhere. Her mother's eyes widened. Who filmed this? Why are people? Another notification popped up. Shared 287 times. Her chest tightened. They think I did something. They think I'm a criminal. You are not, her mother said firmly. People online don't know a thing about you. They know what they saw. They saw a lie, her mother insisted. Bennett's lie. Nia opened another message. It was from her friend Jamie. Is this really you? What happened? Another from her fashion mentor. Please tell me you're safe. More notifications piled in. More comments. More assumptions. More strangers deciding who she was without hearing her voice. Her mother pulled her into another hug. We'll fix this. I promise. But Nia barely heard her. Her gaze drifted to the corner of the room where her empty portfolio lay on the floor, flattened, scraped, almost lifeless. Her designs had been her future. Now they were either gone, or lying in the street like trash. Her throat tightened as the truth settled over her like heavy fabric. Bennett hadn't just taken her freedom. He'd taken her dignity, her voice, her work. And now the world thought the worst of her because he'd decided she matched a story he wanted to tell. The tears finally came. Her mother held her tighter. Outside, the night felt unbearably quiet. And in that quiet, Nia realized, this wasn't over. Not even close. By morning, Nia's phone hadn't stopped buzzing. She kept it face down on her nightstand, screen lighting up every few seconds like a pulse she couldn't ignore. Her mother knocked softly before entering. You up? She asked. I didn't sleep, Nia murmured. Her mother sat beside her. You don't have to go to school today. If I don't go, it'll look like I'm hiding. You shouldn't have to be brave right now. Nia stared at her rumpled bedsheets. I don't have a choice, do I? Her mother sighed and cupped her cheek. I'm with you. Every step. But when Nia arrived at school, she felt alone the second she stepped through the doors. Students turned as she walked down the hallway. Conversations quieted, shifting into whispers that seemed to float right behind her. That's her, right? The girl who got arrested. Didn't you see the video? Why was she crying like that? My cousin said the officer found stolen stuff. Nia kept her eyes forward, jaw clenched. She reached her locker and opened it with shaking hands. A folded sheet of printer paper slid out, drifting to the floor. She picked it up. It was a screenshot from the video, her crouched, crying on the sidewalk, hands cuffed. Someone had added text beneath it. Fashion designer. More like fashion felon. Heat rushed to her face. She crushed the paper and shoved it deep into her backpack. Hey! She turned. Jamie, her best friend, stood a few feet away, eyes soft with worry. Why didn't you tell me? Jamie asked. I didn't have time, Nia whispered. It all happened so fast. Are you okay? No. Jamie stepped closer. What really happened? Because people are saying. I know what people are saying. Nia's voice cracked. But none of it's true. Jamie lowered her voice. Then tell me. Nia inhaled shakily. He stopped me for no reason. He said I matched a description but never said what description. He threw my sketches on the ground. He twisted everything I said. And then, her throat tightened. He lied. Over and over. Jamie's expression darkened. That's messed up. That's racist, Nia corrected softly. He looked at me and decided I was a criminal. Students passed by, glancing at them. Jamie moved closer, shielding Nia with her body. You shouldn't be here today. If I'm not here, Nia murmured, they win. Jamie hesitated, then nodded. Okay. Then I'm with you. Every second. But solidarity didn't change how the day unfolded. In first period, the teacher's smile faltered when Nia walked in. He hesitated mid-sentence while taking attendance, as if unsure whether to say her name aloud. Someone in the back whispered, "Wonder what she stole." Soft laughter followed. Nia tightened her grip on her pen so hard her knuckles whitened. Between classes, more eyes followed her. More whispers. More sideways looks. At lunch, Jamie tried to pull her toward their usual table, but the moment they approached, two girls slid their bags into the empty seats. Taken, one of them said without making eye contact. Jamie snapped. Seriously? The girl shrugged. We just don't want problems. What kind of problems? Jamie demanded. The girl finally looked up, eyes wide, nervous. I'm sorry, okay? Everyone saw the video. Nia stepped back. It's fine. Let's go. It's not fine, Jamie hissed as they walked away. People are acting like you're dangerous. Nia's hands trembled. That's exactly what Bennett wanted. They found an empty table near the back corner of the cafeteria. But even from there, Nia felt eyes pressing against her, like static she couldn't escape. Her phone buzzed again. An email notification slid across the screen. From City Youth Fashion Showcase subject. Participation status inquiry. Her stomach dropped. She opened it. Nia, we hope you are well. Given recent events circulating on social media, we wanted to kindly check whether you are still able and eligible to participate in next month's showcase. She stopped reading. Jamie leaned over. What is it? They think I might not be eligible. Nia blinked back tears. As if getting arrested for nothing makes me unqualified to design. Jamie cursed under her breath. This is insane. Nia shut the email. I don't know if I can still do it. Don't say that. They saw the video. Everyone did. Who's going to take me seriously as a designer after that? Jamie touched her hand. People who matter will. Nia didn't respond. She couldn't. Her chest felt tight like the walls were inching closer. She excused herself and rushed to the bathroom. Inside, the echoing quiet felt suffocating. She locked herself in a stall and sat down, pressing her hands over her face. Shaky breath escaped. Then another. She couldn't stop imagining the moment Bennett snapped the cuffs on her wrists. How quickly her voice had stopped mattering. How easily strangers online had turned her into a villain. The bathroom door opened. Footsteps shuffled in. Two girls started talking near the sinks. Did you see her? She looks rough. Can you blame her? Getting arrested like that. A cop doesn't just arrest someone for no reason. Exactly. She must have done something. Nia felt her chest hollow out. The girls laughed and walked out. Silence returned, thick and choking. Nia rested her forehead against her knees. Hot tears soaked through her sleeves. I didn't do anything, she whispered. I didn't do anything. A long moment passed before she could breathe again. Low. Shaky. She wiped her face, stood up, and exited the stall. Her reflection stared back. Eyes puffy, expression bruised by something invisible. The girl in the mirror wasn't the same girl who'd walked to the fabric shop the night before. She was smaller. She was older. She was carrying something heavy she never asked for. As she walked back toward the hallway, her phone buzzed one more time. She braced herself and checked it. A message from an unknown number. Saw your video. You deserved it. Bet the cop saved someone else trouble. Nia's fingers tightened until the phone shook. She turned it off. Not everything deserved a response. But her story wasn't finished. Something inside her, small but steady, refused to break. She walked forward with that tiny spark. The weight of the lie still pressed hard. But she was still moving. Nia sat on the living room floor surrounded by damaged sketches. Crumpled edges, boot prints, streaks of dirt. Every page felt like a wound. She smoothed one out carefully, but the crease running through the center refused to disappear. Her mother passed by the doorway, pausing. You should rest. I can't, Nia whispered. You've been at this for hours. I need to fix them. Her mother knelt beside her. You don't have to put yourself through this tonight. If I don't, I'll fall behind, Nia murmured, eyes burning. The showcase committee already thinks I might be disqualified. Her mother's nostrils flared. Because of him. Because everyone believes his version. Her mother placed a hand on her shoulder. You survived something awful. You don't have to prove anything tonight. I do, Nia said. The words trembled out. If I stop now, then the lie wins. A soft knock sounded at the front door. Nia's mother stood. Who is that at this hour? When she opened it, Ms. Rowe walked in. A tall woman with silver rings, a long knit coat, and eyes that carried both heat and tenderness. The fashion club mentor. The one person Nia didn't expect to see tonight. Nia, Ms. Rowe said gently, stepping inside. I came as soon as I heard. Nia froze. You saw the video. I did. And I'm sorry you went through that. Nia swallowed. Everyone thinks. I don't care what everyone thinks, Ms. Rowe cut in, voice firm. I care about what happened to you. And I care about what you do next. Her mother gestured toward the kitchen. Can I get you some tea? No, thank you, Ms. Rowe said. She sat cross-legged beside Nia on the floor, picking up one of the torn sketches. Is this the dress you showed me last month? The cream one inspired by your grandmother? Nia nodded. He stepped on it. It's ruined. Ms. Rowe studied the page. The page is ruined. The design isn't. Nia blinked. What? You heard me, Ms. Rowe said, lifting her gaze. A design isn't the paper it's drawn on. It's the mind that created it. And yours is still here. Nia shook her head. I don't know anymore. You do, Ms. Rowe said softly. You're just hurt. Nia rubbed her eyes. I'm more than hurt. Feel erased. He looked at me and saw nothing but guilt. Ms. Rowe's jaw tightened. He saw what he wanted to see. That has nothing to do with who you are. I don't know if I can still do the showcase. You have to. Nia flinched. Why? Everyone's talking about me. Teachers are acting like I'm dangerous. The organizers emailed me to ask if I'm still eligible. It's humiliating. It's humiliating because someone wronged you, Ms. Rowe said, voice steady. And people chose to believe the wrong person. That is not your shame to carry. Nia's mother nodded sharply behind her. Exactly. But when I walk in the room, Nia whispered, they see the girl from the video. Well, Ms. Rowe said gently, then you show them something else. Nia looked at her skeptically. Like what? Show them a designer, Ms. Rowe replied. Show them someone resilient. Show them someone who refuses to let a racist lie define her work. Nia exhaled shakily. I don't know if I'm strong enough. You don't have to be strong alone, Ms. Rowe said. Let me help you rebuild these. We can salvage the ones with minor damage. And the rest, she smiled. We'll redraw them. Better this time. Nia stared at her mentor. You'd help me recreate everything. Yes. Why? Ms. Rowe's expression softened. Because I've been where you are. Different details, same pain. And someone helped me stand back up. Now it's my turn. The room fell quiet. Then Nia reached for a pencil. As she began redrawing the first sketch, her mother whispered, There she is. Hours passed. Pencil strokes layered over fear. New lines replaced torn ones. Slowly, a piece of Nia began stitching itself back together. Meanwhile, across town, Officer Lewis sat alone in his patrol car, engine off, body cam positioned on the dashboard. He replayed the footage privately, volume low. Bennett's voice. Nia's shaking hands. No running. No stolen items. No commands ignored. Nothing justifying an arrest. Lewis rubbed his face. God, Bennett, what did you do? At the back door of the station, he heard laughter drifting from the break room. Bennett's voice was unmistakable. Low, smug, confident. Lewis stepped closer. She started crying before I even cuffed her, Bennett said. I barely touched her. Drama for the camera, you know how they do. The other officer chuckled. Seriously? She looked guilty. Exactly what I said, Bennett replied. Wish we had more stops like that. Keep them in line. Lewis felt something twist in his stomach. A dry, acidic guilt. He backed away quietly, returning to his cruiser. His hand hovered over the body cam again. He thought about Nia. The way she'd whispered, "Help me." The way she'd looked at him like he might be someone she could trust. His fists clenched. He wasn't sure if he deserved that trust. Not yet. But he could do something. With a steady breath, he connected his phone to the cruiser computer, located the unedited body cam file, the real version, and transferred it to a flash drive. The cursor blinked. Copy complete. He tucked the drive into his pocket. Inside her house, Nia added the final detail to a newly redrawn sketch, a fabric fold that mirrored her grandmother's dress from old photographs. He sat back. Ms. Rowe smiled. Beautiful. Nia exhaled, voice trembling. It feels different. Because you're different, Ms. Rowe said. Pain changes the artist. But so does fighting back. Her mother kissed her forehead. I'm so proud of you. For the first time since the arrest, Nia felt something like oxygen fill her lungs. Not relief, not safety, but momentum. Yet even as she worked, she knew the world outside still doubted her. Her designs were coming back to life. But her reputation, her voice, her truth, those were threads she couldn't stitch alone. She didn't know yet that someone else, someone inside the system, had just taken the first step toward unraveling Bennett's lie. The next morning, Officer Lewis walked into the station with the flash drive burning a hole in his pocket. He barely slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Nia's expression when she whispered, "Help me." He saw Bennett smirking over her crumpled sketches. He heard the lies rewritten as truth. And now the truth lived on a tiny piece of plastic in his pocket. Bennett was already at his desk, leaning back in his chair as he scrolled on his phone. "Morning," Bennett said. "You look like hell." Lewis ignored the jab. "We need to talk." About the arrest." Bennett raised a brow. "Still stuck on that?" "Yes." Bennett sighed dramatically. "Lewis, she was a suspect. End of story." "There was no suspect," Lewis said. "There was a description. No documented call came in. No witness. Nothing." Bennett's jaw twitched. "I know what I saw." "You saw a black girl with a hoodie," Lewis said sharply. Bennett's eyes hardened. "You want to be careful how you say that. You want to be careful how you police," Lewis shot back. A tense silence filled the room. Officers at nearby desks looked up briefly, then pretended not to listen. Bennett stood slowly. "You accusing me of something? I'm saying you arrested her for nothing. Suspicious behavior is something. She walked home with a portfolio. She argued. She begged you to stop." Bennett's voice dropped. "You're soft. You don't get this job yet." Lewis stepped closer. "What I get is that she wasn't a criminal. And you treated her like one." Bennett's smile curled into something ugly. "Look, Lewis. Some people need a little pressure to tell the truth. She did tell the truth. You don't know that." Lewis swallowed. "I know you lied in your report." Bennett stiffened. "Watch it." You said she ran. She didn't run. You calling me a liar? Your body cam shows it. Bennett leaned in. Our body cams malfunction sometimes. Funny, Lewis said, because yours worked perfectly. Bennett's voice dropped to a whisper. Delete it. Lewis went still. What? Delete the footage, Bennett said, jaw tight. She's a nobody. This isn't worth the paperwork. Or your job. Lewis's stomach knotted. I'm not deleting it. So you're choosing her over your own department. I'm choosing the truth. Bennett scoffed. Truth doesn't matter if nobody sees it. Lewis's breath caught. Bennett added. And nobody will unless you do something stupid. Lewis backed away. You're unbelievable. Just doing my job. Lewis stared at him. That's the problem. He walked out before he said something irreversible. Meanwhile, miles away, Nia sat at a small cafe with a notebook open and her phone face down beside it. Her hands hovered over the blank page, but the pencil wouldn't move. Her mother had insisted she take a break from sketching. Get fresh air, she'd said. Even artists need to breathe. It wasn't helping. A woman approached hesitantly. She wore a press badge around her neck. Hi, sorry to interrupt. Are you Nia Morgan? Nia's chest tightened. Depends who's asking. I'm Maya Grant, local community reporter. I'm doing a story about policing and minors. I heard what happened and I wanted to talk to you. Only if you're comfortable. Nia hesitated. Everyone already thinks they know what happened. That's why I'm here, Maya said. You deserve to tell your side. Nia swallowed. What if telling my side makes things worse? Maya gently took a seat. Sometimes silence hurts more. The cafe chatter faded beneath that sentence. After a long moment, Nia whispered, Okay, I'll talk. Maya pulled out a recorder. Whenever you're ready. Nia took a deep breath. He stopped me for no reason. He didn't ask questions. He assumed everything. Everything. That I was lying. That I was dangerous. That my work was suspicious. Her voice trembled. He treated my drawings like evidence of a crime. Maya nodded solemnly. I'm so sorry. Nia blinked quickly, eyes burning. I keep replaying it. Every second. I keep asking what I could have done differently. And the answer is nothing. That's important, Maya said. People need to hear that. Nia stared at her hands. I don't want to be a story. I just want my life back. Your story might help someone else get theirs back. Something tugged inside Nia, a small flicker of purpose beneath the fear. She nodded. Okay. Use whatever helps. Maya offered a soft smile. You're brave, you know that. No, Nia said. I'm just tired. Back at the station, Lewis sat in his car behind the building, gripping the flash drive so tightly his knuckles whitened. He opened his laptop, inserted the drive, and hovered over the file. He whispered to himself, If I don't do this, who will? He attached the file to an encrypted email addressed to a civil rights organization. He followed quietly on social media, but had never dared contact. His finger hovered over the send button. You're risking everything, he whispered. He hit send. The message disappeared from his screen. A weight lifted and crashed down at the same time. That evening, Nia sat beside her mother on the couch, scrolling through her email when a notification appeared. New article. Teen speaks out about wrongful arrest. Her breath caught. She opened the link. Her own face appeared on the screen, but this time, not crying, not breaking. Just speaking. Clear. Human. Mom, she whispered. She wrote it beautifully. Her mother read over her shoulder. This is the truth, Nia. Your truth. For the first time since the arrest, Nia felt a small spark of hope. Quiet but real. But she also felt a deeper fear. If the truth was finally moving, what would Bennett do when he realized control was slipping? Somewhere across town, that same fear, different shape, sat in Lewis's chest. The system he worked for was about to face something it couldn't erase. Something undeniable. Something documented. Crack. And cracks sooner or later break open. The video dropped at 7:42 a.m. Not the shaky cell phone clip. Not the edited police report. Not the rumor-filled version the internet had already swallowed whole. This was the body cam footage. The real one. Uncut. Unedited. Undeniable. Within minutes, it spread across social media like a spark racing across dry leaves. Nia wasn't awake yet when her phone exploded with notifications. Her mother burst into her room, holding her own phone, eyes wide. "Nia, baby, wake up. You need to see this." Nia sat up groggily. "Mom, what's going on?" "It's online." Her mother handed her the phone. "Everything. The real footage." Nia blinked at the screen. The headline read, "Body cam video contradicts officer's account in teen arrest." Her breath caught. "How? Who?" "I don't know," her mother whispered. "But someone did the right thing." Nia tapped the video. There she was, confused, scared, doing nothing wrong. Her voice shaking. Bennett's tone sharp, dismissive, coercive. The camera caught every detail he had twisted. Nia watched silently, heart pounding. Her mother sat beside her, tears gathering. "This proves everything." But Nia didn't feel relief. Only disbelief, fear, and something rawer than either. "They'll know I wasn't lying," she whispered. "Yes," her mother said. "They will." By the time Nia reached school, the atmosphere had shifted. Students huddled in tight groups, watching the footage on their phones, murmuring in shock. "She didn't do anything. He actually lied in his report. Did you hear the way he talked to her? Damn, that's messed up. Why would a cop do that?" Some stared at Nia with wide, guilty eyes. Some couldn't meet her gaze at all. Jamie rushed toward her, breathless. "Nia! Oh my God, did you see it? It's everywhere. People are talking about how wrong it was, like actually acknowledging it." Nia hugged herself. "I don't know how to feel." "You don't have to feel anything. This is justice." "No," Nia said quietly. "This is the beginning of something. Justice is different." Jamie frowned. "What do you mean?" Nia looked around the hallway. "People will move on. But I won't. I still lived it." Jamie didn't try to argue. They walked together to class. Students parted like the Red Sea. This time not out of fear, but out of shame. A girl approached tentatively. "Nia, I'm sorry for what I said yesterday." Another chimed in. "Yeah, I didn't know." "You didn't want to know," Nia corrected softly. The girls lowered their heads. Nia walked past them. At the police station, the atmosphere crackled with tension. Officers whispered, glancing toward Bennett's desk. Bennett stood rigid, jaw clenched, face pale but eyes simmering with anger. Lewis entered, heart pounding. He could feel Bennett's stare drilling into him. "You," Bennett growled. "You did this." Lewis froze. "What are you talking about? Don't play stupid." Bennett grabbed a stack of papers and slammed them on his desk. "Internal Affairs is opening a review. They're saying my footage was leaked. Unedited." Lewis forced a calm tone. "Maybe someone else saw the truth." Bennett stepped closer. "You think you're a hero?" "No," Lewis said. "Just not a liar." The room fell silent. Bennett's voice dropped to a low, dangerous whisper. "You're finished." Lewis met his glare. "If telling the truth ends my career, then the career wasn't worth having." For a flicker of a moment, fear flashed in Bennett's eyes. He knew, deep down, that the walls were finally closing in. Sergeant Vance strode out of her office, expression grim. "Bennett." Inside. "Now." He straightened. "Sergeant, this is an injustice." Inside. "That's an order." He obeyed reluctantly. As the door closed behind them, Lewis exhaled shakily. He didn't feel triumphant. He felt sick. But he also felt right. That afternoon, Nia and her mother attended a scheduled community meeting at the local cultural center. They walked in quietly, expecting a small turnout. Instead, the room was full. People of all ages. Different backgrounds. Faces tight with anger or hope. Signs reading "Support Nia" and "Stop Racist Policing." Her mother's breath shook. "Oh my!" A woman stepped forward. An elder with soft gray curls and a warm but fierce presence. "Nia, sweetheart," she said. "We're glad you're here." Nia blinked. You know who I am." "They all do," the elder replied. "And we're standing with you." Nia felt her throat close. During the meeting, people shared stories. A black father describing how his son was stopped twice in 1 week. A Latina woman recounting a wrongful arrest. A teenager admitting she was afraid to walk alone. A grandmother whispering she'd prayed for change for decades. Nia listened, frozen. "I thought it was just me," she said quietly. Her mother squeezed her hand. "It was never just you." When the elder invited Nia to speak, she rose slowly. Her voice trembled at first. "I didn't know how many people had gone through this. I thought maybe I'd done something wrong, even when I knew I hadn't." People nodded, eyes glistening. "But this," Nia swallowed. "This shouldn't happen to anyone. Ever. And I'm scared it'll happen again. Not just to me, but to someone else." A murmur of agreement rippled through the room. "You're brave," said a youth counselor. Nia shook her head. "No, I'm just tired of being quiet." When she sat down, the room erupted in soft, supportive applause. Her mother wiped away tears. "I'm proud of you." Nia leaned her head against her shoulder. Back at the station, Bennett emerged from Vance's office, red-faced and furious. He slammed his badge on the desk. "Suspension pending investigation," he spat. "This is a joke." Lewis kept his eyes on his paperwork, heart racing. Bennett pointed at him. "You'll regret this." Lewis didn't look up. "No, I won't." That evening, as Nia walked home with her mother, her phone buzzed. A news alert. "Officer suspended after footage contradicts report." Nia stopped walking. "Mom, he's suspended." Her mother exhaled shakily. "Truth is catching up." Nia stared at the sky, where dusk painted the clouds gold. She didn't smile. She didn't celebrate. She just breathed slow and steady. Because this wasn't victory. Not yet. But it was the first real shift in the weight she'd been carrying. A crack in the system. Sliver of light. The kind that could grow. The night of the showcase arrived with the weight of everything Nia had endured. She stood backstage, palms sweating, heart pounding as the muffled sounds of the audience drifted through the curtains. Laughter, chatter, the occasional burst of applause. Her mother tightened the back of her dress, whispering, "You look stunning." Nia swallowed. "I feel like I can't breathe." "That's nerves," her mother said softly. "Not fear." Nia wasn't sure there was a difference anymore. Ms. Rowe approached with a clipboard in hand. "Designs ready?" she asked. Nia nodded, though her hands trembled. The garment she'd created, her unbroken thread collection, hung nearby. They were bold, textured, layered with symbolism. Soft fabrics clashing with sharp lines, muted tones interrupted by strokes of color. Survival stitched into every seam. "You did this," Ms. Rowe said, squeezing Nia's shoulder. "No video, no rumor, no lie can take this from you." Nia exhaled shakily. "I'm scared they'll see the girl from the footage." "Let them see her," Ms. Rowe said firmly. "Let them see what she made despite it." A stagehand called out, "10 minutes." Jamie burst backstage, breathless. "The place is packed. Like standing room only packed." Nia's stomach flipped. "That's not helping." Jamie grinned. "You'll crush it." Nia managed a weak smile. "Thanks." As Jamie disappeared into the audience, Nia felt the room tilt slightly. She steadied herself against a garment rack. "Breathe," her mother whispered. "I'm trying." "No," her mother said. "You're surviving." "That's different." Nia's chest tightened, then loosened. The lights dimmed in the auditorium. The announcer's voice echoed through the space. "Next up, our final designer of the night, Nia Morgan presenting unbroken thread. Backstage went silent. This was it. Ms. Rowe handed her a headset mic. Say what you need to say. Nia stepped onto the runway as the curtains drew open. The audience blurred into a sea of faces and glowing phone screens. Her legs felt weightless, her breath thin. But the moment the first model stepped out wearing her design, something inside her clicked. The room hushed, then leaned forward. Model after model walked the runway, each garment telling a piece of Nia's story. Soft cream fabric torn and restitched. Bold lines crossing fragile lace. Warm earthy tones fading into sharp blacks. Beauty rising from damage. Strength woven into vulnerability. The audience was silent, an intense, focused silence, the kind that felt like reverence. Then came the final look. A dress inspired by Nia's grandmother's stories. That flowing cream piece she had lost in the street. She had rebuilt it from scratch. Made it even better. As the model walked, people gasped. Hands flew to mouths. Phones lifted. It felt like redemption in fabric form. When the last model stepped off stage, the spotlight turned to Nia. She swallowed, gripping the mic. "Hi," she began, voice trembling. "Thank you for being here." A hush fell deeper. "I made this collection during the hardest week of my life. Some of you know why." She glanced toward the audience but kept her gaze unfocused. It was easier that way. "I was stopped, arrested, and humiliated for something I didn't do. And the world believed the worst of me before hearing my voice." People shifted uncomfortably. Others nodded. "I wanted to quit," Nia continued. "I wanted to disappear. But someone reminded me that silence doesn't protect you. It only hides the truth." Her mother's eyes glistened. "These designs, they're not about clothes. They're about surviving something that tried to break me." She took a shaky breath. "And being here tonight means that I'm still standing." The audience erupted in applause. Loud, overwhelming, rising like a wave that washed over her. Nia's knees wobbled. She bowed her head, tears slipping down her cheeks. From the back of the room, Officer Lewis watched quietly, hood up, hands tucked into his jacket pockets. He stayed hidden, not because he was ashamed, but because he didn't want his presence to taint this moment. When Nia spoke on stage, Lewis felt a tight ache in his chest. He whispered to himself, "Good. She deserved this." As the applause thundered, a couple near him murmured, "That's the girl from the video. She's incredible. That cop's career is done. Did you see the news alert?" Lewis pulled out his phone. A headline flashed. "Officer Bennett terminated after internal review. Falsified reports confirmed." He closed his eyes. Relief washed through him. Relief mixed with dread, because Bennett was not the kind of man who took consequences quietly. Still, the truth had won. At least today. After the show, attendees crowded around Nia. "You're so talented. The bravery, the message, powerful. That dress was unbelievable. You're going to go far. You should be proud of yourself." Nia smiled weakly, overwhelmed. Compliments blurred together like noise in a storm. Her mother hugged her tightly. "You were magnificent." Nia leaned into the embrace. "I'm tired." "I know," her mother whispered. "Rest tonight. Shine tomorrow." Ms. Rowe approached with teary eyes. "You didn't just design clothes. You told your story. And people heard you." Nia swallowed. "I hope they understood." "They did," Ms. Rowe said. "And even if they didn't, you did." A showcase judge approached. An elegant woman with an authoritative presence. "Nia Morgan." Nia straightened. "Yes. I've been in this industry a long time," the judge said. "Your work is exceptional. Would you be open to discussing an internship?" Nia stared at her, speechless. Yes, absolutely." The judge smiled. "I'll email you tomorrow." As she walked away, Nia covered her mouth with her hands, stunned. Jamie rushed over and grabbed her in a tight hug. "See? I told you." Nia laughed. A soft, exhausted sound she hadn't made all week. Outside, The cool night air kissed her skin as she stepped through the venue doors, clutching her portfolio against her chest. She looked up at the stars. For the first time, they didn't feel distant. They felt reachable. This wasn't victory. This wasn't the end. But it was a beginning, and beginnings were powerful. Behind her, Louis watched from a distance. He didn't approach. He didn't need to. Nia had done this, despite everything. 3 weeks passed before the official notice came. Nia stood in the kitchen pouring cereal when her mother walked in holding a folded newspaper and her phone pressed to her chest. Her expression was tight, some mixture of vindication, fear, and something too heavy to name. "Nia," she said softly, "sit down." Nia slowly set the cereal box aside. What happened? Her mother handed her the phone. On the screen was a headline. Former Officer Bennett faces charges for falsifying reports. Below it, tampering with evidence, filing false documentation, abuse of authority. Nia stared at the words. Her throat felt thick. He's charged. Like actually charged. Her mother nodded. Internal Affairs confirmed it this morning. And Louis testified. Nia blinked. Officer Louis. Yes. Nia sank into her chair. Memories flickered. Louis hovering at the doorway, guilt carved into his expression. His voice shaking when he tried to defend her. He wasn't perfect. He hadn't stopped it. But he had done something when it mattered. Her mother sat beside her. This doesn't erase what happened. But it means his lie didn't win. I still have nightmares, Nia whispered. About him grabbing me. About the cuffs. Her mother wrapped an arm around her shoulders. That's part of healing. Pain doesn't disappear because the world finally believes you. Nia rested her head against her mother. I don't want to feel scared every time I walk past a police car. You won't feel that way forever, her mother murmured. But for now, let that fear exist. Don't fight it. Just don't let it decide your future. Nia nodded. Quiet settled over the kitchen. Gentle, fragile, honest. Later that afternoon, Nia headed to meet the designer who had invited her to apprentice. The offer felt surreal, like a gift wrapped inside a bruise. The studio was a renovated warehouse filled with color palettes, drawing tables, and mood boards covering the walls. The designer, Clara Hart, known for her bold, socially conscious collections, greeted her with a warm smile. Nia, you made it. I'm really grateful to be here, Nia said, voice soft. Clara gestured to a long table. Sit with me. I want to hear about your work. All of it, not the viral part. You. Nia sat. For the first time in weeks, she talked openly about fashion without feeling watched or judged. She described her favorite textures, her obsession with structure and movement, the way fabric could tell stories without words. Clara listened intently. You have vision, she said. Not everyone your age does. Some designers spend decades trying to find a voice. You already have one. Even if people tried to silence it. Nia bit her lip. It still feels fragile. All voices are fragile, Clara said. That's why we protect them. Something inside Nia loosened. Clara stood. Come. I want to show you something. She led Nia to a dress form draped with a half-finished garment. Soft cream fabric with sharp black lines intersecting like fractures. I started this before I saw your show, Clara said. But after watching your collection, I realized I want you to help me finish it. Me. Who else? Clara smiled. You understand surviving something without letting it define you. Nia touched the fabric gently, fingers tracing the seams. She nodded, heart filling with a quiet kind of pride. That evening, Nia walked home alone, the city air cool and steady. She reached the intersection where it had all happened, the place where Bennett stopped her, where her sketches had scattered across the pavement. For a moment she froze. Her breath caught. The memory rose sharply. Lights, fear, humiliation. Her legs trembled, and she almost turned back. But she didn't. She stepped onto the sidewalk slowly, each breath deliberate. She knelt and placed her bag down, pulling out a folded sketch, one she had redrawn after the original was ruined. It wasn't perfect. The lines weren't as smooth. But it was hers. She laid it gently on the concrete. The wind tugged at the page. Nia whispered, "I'm still here." The words felt like a stitch closing a tear. Car passed quietly. A dog barked from somewhere down the street. Life moved, uncaring and unstoppable. And Nia found comfort in that. She didn't need the city to pause for her pain. She just needed space to breathe through it. She stood again, feeling a strange, quiet clarity. The sketch fluttered behind her, caught in the wind, drifting toward the curb, not damaged this time but free. She began walking home. Halfway down the block she heard footsteps. She turned, startled, but relaxed when she saw who it was. Officer Lewis stood at the intersection, hands tucked awkwardly in his pockets. His expression was cautious, apologetic. "I didn't want to interrupt," he said hesitantly. Nia frowned softly. "How long were you standing there?" "Long enough." She didn't know what to say. The silence felt heavy but not hostile. "I testified," he said quietly. "I told them everything." "I know," Nia replied. "Thank you." Lewis looked down. "I should have stopped him sooner. I should have said something during the arrest. I shouldn't have." "You did something," Nia said. "You helped. That mattered." He exhaled, shoulders sagging. "I'm sorry for everything you went through. I'm sorry you had to be the one to expose him." Lewis gave a small, tired smile. "Sometimes the truth costs something. But it's still the truth." Nia nodded. "I hope things change." "Me too," he said. "And I'll do my part." They stood for a moment under the streetlight. Two people bound by a moment neither had wanted. Nia finally said, "I should go home." Lewis nodded. "Good night, Nia." "Good night." She turned and walked away again, steady, certain, carrying both her wounds and her strength. The night air felt different. Not lighter, but clearer. Healing was slow. Progress was imperfect. But she wasn't broken. Not anymore. And as she reached her doorstep, she realized something profound. What had happened to her would always be part of her story, but it would never be the whole story. She was more than the lie, more than the footage, more than the fear. She was the stitch that held. And she wasn't done yet.